Hello again. I'm always a little suspicious of political slogans which sound straightforward and plain, but on closer examination are very vague and woolly. Things like forward with the people or liberty, fraternity and equality. In the modern world, we are so used to hearing about diversity and inclusion that most of us hardly even bother to ask ourselves what it's supposed to mean. It's precisely the same with talk of reflecting the community we serve. If we think about it at all, we probably imagine an image like one of those which you find in literature handed out by the Jehovah's Witnesses, where humanity live in a multiracial paradise with black people and white, Chinese and Indian, all mingling cheerfully and not even noticing the colour of each other's skins. The lion lays down with the lamb and swords are beaten into ploughshares and so on. The thumbnail to this video shows a picture from the Watchtower, which sums up how I think most of us subconsciously think of diversity and inclusion, or at least how we are supposed to think of it. The problem comes when we stop to think about what things like forward with the people or reflecting the community we serve might mean in practice. Take Britain's National Health Service, which is constantly banging on about the struggle for diversity and how they hope to reflect the community they serve. This is a bit rummy because when most of us visit a hospital, the last thing we see is a lack of diversity. Honestly, it looks more like the United Nations. Black security guards, Indian doctors, Filipino nurses. I'm sure we all know what I mean. And this is an organisation which is still struggling for diversity. Often the only thing lacking is white English staff. Or to give another instance, Lloyds Bank has many staff belonging to various visible minorities. These were employed not just as cleaners or cashiers, there are many in senior roles. An awful lot of branch managers and people at head office are Indian. A much greater percentage, by the way, than the percentage of Indians in the population as a whole, so Lloyds aren't doing too bad. And yet, Lloyds Bank are forging ahead with what they call their Race Action Plan, because, as this document says in the preamble, as a group, we're guided in how we do things by a clear set of values. A key part of how we seek to live and breathe these values is to strive to create a fully inclusive environment for all our colleagues, customers and communities, one that is truly representative of modern-day Britain. I'd give a link to this document in the description to this video, and I earnestly recommend that people click on it and read the thing. So, although we see loads of diversity in most branches of Lloyds Bank, they are still dead set on forging ahead with greater changes. Across the Atlantic, we look at universities like Harvard and Yale. Now, they surely don't need to work towards diversity. Students of Chinese and Indian heritage in America do fantastically well in scholastic aptitude tests and other examinations which indicate who's bright enough to get into Ivy League universities. Leave things alone and they would have more diversity in Harvard than you could shake a stick at. You might even end up with hardly any white students at all. And yet, there too, they are passionate about diversity and inclusion, and they're working hard to achieve it. This is all very puzzling until we look a little closer at what is really going on. Lloyds Bank, for instance, and their desire for a fully inclusive environment in their workplace. What does that actually mean? I quote from their Race Action Plan. We've set a public goal complementing our broader 2018 Black, Asian and minority ethnic target to specifically increase black representation in senior roles from 0.6% at senior grades to at least 3% by 2025 to align with the overall UK labour market. So they wish to have 5 times as many black people in senior roles than is currently the case. Just black people, you will observe, not Indians, Chinese or other visible minorities. Then we have this. We're nurturing our talented black colleagues by creating specific development and sponsorship programs for both middle management and senior grades so we can help break the ceiling for senior role models. We're taking our work beyond our own organisation to help address challenges faced by black communities, beginning with establishing the Black Business Advisory Committee and working in partnership with Foundervine and the Black Business Network. In short, creating this inclusive and diverse environment for Lloyds Bank can be summed up as employing more black people. That's it. In Harvard and Yale, a quota system operates to prevent students of Chinese origin from getting in. The aim there as well is more black students. Diversity at those universities means not Indians or Chinese people, who are sometimes turned down with astonishingly high marks, but rather more black students. This, then, is the true meaning of diversity. The aim is always to have more black people, even if, as happens at Harvard, this means turning down better qualified students of Chinese heritage. It's the same at Oxford and Cambridge universities in Britain. There's no shortage of diversity in that you'll see many Chinese and Indian students at both universities. Increasing diversity, though, means a drive to get more black people. I don't say this is a bad thing, but it is as well that we understand what this seemingly noble aim and all the talk about diversity and inclusion really means. We mustn't be deceived. Diversity and inclusion means simply black people. If we can only have black workers and students by chucking out some Indians and Chinese, then so be it. This is probably not quite what most of us would have thought diversity and inclusion means.